All right, yo, welcome to Sports Business Life Podcast, episode 9. Diego, what's going on, man? What's going
I don't
on?
know that sigh. I sound concerned by you, Mike. Are you okay? It's
I'm
been a
good,
busy
man. I'm
day.
good. Long day, but yeah, I'm good,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Staying positive, right? Staying
Yeah, it's been
positive.
it's been a productive day. That's for sure.
That's
It's
good,
always
man.
good. It's good to feel tired at the end, like you did a lot of work, right?
Yeah, man. And obviously, just sticking with the process. Sticking with the process, right? Whatever,
We're not
whatever,
trusting the process. We're sticking to the
yeah,
process, though. That's
whatever endeavor you're in, right? Basketball, podcasts, um, mortgage
life.
mortgage agent, or
Hmm.
whatever life career you're in, stick with the process. If hopefully it's something that you enjoy. But I think what I'm understanding a lot more about life is that life is a one big long process, right? Um, because if you think about our journey to becoming good at basketball, right?
Yep,
It's not a one-time stop. Yeah, you get to be a better ball handler. Yes, you become a better shooter. Yes, you become a better driver. You become a better finisher at the rim. You become a better rebounder. However, though, you don't ever stop, right? The great ones never stop. Even LeBron James, 38 years old, still not stopping, still trying to improve. And I think, applying that mindset to anything that you desire to do,
for
yeah,
sure.
it applies.
Yep. Honestly, and it's a lot of the stuff me and you have been learning recently has been bringing the process of how we learned and how we enjoyed the process of learning basketball and applying it to every kind of walk of life, whether father, husband, boyfriend, son, brother. It kind of applies to all, and it's just staying the course, and you're gonna have ups, you're gonna have downs, just to kind of stay as level as possible, and just kind of always keep working because there's so many people. Like, look, so many billionaires in this world. They're still constantly working. They're not stopping. So why should we?
Good
Especially if we're
point.
trying to achieve what we want to achieve. If you want to be the best father, you want to be the best, stay-at-home mother, wants to take care of their kids, raise them right. It's a lot of work. You got to put in the work. You got to learn to teach them, right? It's trying to follow that as much as possible.
You know what? And I wanted to share this with you. I, I was thinking about sharing it at the end, but like just because how we started off. So, like, would you say there's a formula to being great? Let's just say with basketball. Is there a formula to reaching the top um, ranked players in the game history? Is there a formula to that? What are your thoughts?
Well, basketball's tricky because it depends. If we're talking about NBA, then there's going to be a form of God-given talent, right? Like, there's been a lot of players that have made the NBA, super talented, but then don't amount to anything in the NBA or out in a couple of years, or they're projected to be a superstar and they're just a bench player, right? So a lot of it is God-given talent. Obviously, with basketball, height is involved, athleticism is involved. Um, that's kind of a lot of people have the gift of being talented and have like a raw talent with height and speed and agility, and they don't put any work into it. They don't improve. So like they're out of the league, or they don't make the league, or their ceiling is very limited if they're not putting any work into it, right? Um, so yeah, basketball is a little tricky because obviously like that kind of has a big say in it, but most of the guys that are top 10, top 20, top 50, they put a lot of work into their craft. They learned the right way to practice. I know that's really important, especially the kids these days. They don't practice the right way. So they're like, oh, I've been in the gym for 8 hours, but like, how much of actual training did you do? It's very little,
So
right?
I got a question for you then. Do you
Yeah.
think earning $1 million is more easier or simpler than making being like a top 10 player in any league?
Like, you mean like business, like any type of
Yeah, I'm
business?
just saying earning it just in general, earning $1 million from starting from zero. This is starting from nowhere. What's more simpler? Becoming one of, let's just say, at least, I'll make it reasonable. Becoming the best basketball player or best NBA player for at least 1 year, like 1 year of your 10-year career, at least 1 year, you were considered the best NBA player, or is earning $1 million starting from zero or even negative more attainable? Which one's more attainable?
I would say more obtainable is making $1 million because like quickly look in the last 20 years, there's been what, three players that would be considered the best player in the league. LeBron was a big chunk. Kobe was a big chunk. Who else?
Well, Steph.
Maybe Giannis,
Steph, Kevin Durant, Giannis.
Steph,
Yeah.
right? Let's say there's five players, right? That those odds are really small, and they dedicated their life's work, their life's effort into basketball. Not a lot of people can put that much effort into one thing and be so dedicated. And again, most of those guys we talked about are the smallest guy is Steph Curry. Everybody else is 6'6" and above, right? So like that has a big part in it. I think with making $1 million, it's easy. Not again, it's not easy. Nothing's easy what we're talking about. But you have options where you can start by saving 50, 60 grand and investing in a rental property, and then that'll grow over time. And like you're going to be working and investing at the same time, so you're kind of growing, slower, but you can make that $1 million, right? Like
Okay.
I know we started with nothing, and we started with a little bit of savings, and we were able to invest, and now our portfolio is larger than $1 million, right? So I think definitely $1 million is
Yeah.
slightly
Okay.
easier.
That's cool.
So that's just a tall task, right?
No problem. I'm kind of, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm feeling like even though we're just starting off here, but I feel like there's a formula to becoming great in any domain you want to become in.
There is. I agree
And
with
I
you on
feel
that.
like,
Just specifically about basketball, like there's that one thing that's kind of,
well, you're saying
you know,
sports in general.
not necessarily sports. Like you could be a soccer player and be 5'8" like Messi and be a superstar.
Uh, Brother, I mean, the same the
Basketball,
same logic. Well, at least what you're saying, the same logic would apply to every, because like even in football, it ain't like every guy is a Randy Moss. You know what I'm saying? Like
agreed.
they have their what do you,
God-given talent, God-given gifts.
well, I wanted to say they have their generational talents that have been passed on throughout time. So
Yeah,
from Jordan to Kobe, Kobe to LeBron, Randy Moss to, I don't know who the next wide receiver was. Maybe you know, but
I
but you get what I'm saying, right?
we need to bring a
Okay,
football guy on this.
Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. There's an example right there. If you want to use that, I don't know,
But
but
see, Patrick Mahomes is an undersized quarterback. I know that he's not a super tall quarterback. Like I think with like basketball, football, those are God given. Like you need height and speed and athleticism. But like baseball, for example, there's a guy on the Jays that looks like me, and he's a star. Like, sorry, he's an all star. He was an all star last year, right? You just have the hand eye coordination. He puts in work on his specific craft. Soccer, you could be a shorter guy and still make a good career as a soccer player, right? Hockey, 6 feet tall, you could be a hockey player,
but it
right? You
ain't
just
like, but I don't know, but like it ain't like even in tennis, like you would think, oh, it's more, I guess, quote unquote leveled, but it ain't like every female tennis player is dominant. Like Serena dominated for a long while.
but
Sharapova,
she,
not
but
Sharapova. Venus was no, well, Venus was
Serena
good, but
Serena
no,
Williams.
but there's another who competed with her. Who at least tried to compete
Oh,
with her.
Bianca, the Canadian girl, right? Bianca Andreescu, I
Yeah.
believe.
Well, I don't know how good she was. You know what?
No, she's good. She was like she won.
Let's go to the men's tennis. Like Roger Federer,
Yeah,
the Novak, Jokic, and
Djokovic.
Djokovic. Hey, hey, and Rafael Nadal. Like it ain't like every person was winning. I mean, these men were like it was lopsided. So in any sports, it feels like there's like a certain group that are just above everybody.
Yeah, I agree that. there's a formula, right? I agree with you on that, but I mean, on certain things you have to add to that formula. Like you have to have that gift and then put the formula and apply it. If you don't apply it, then you're not going to amount to anything. There's plenty of people in this world that are tall that aren't in the NBA because they don't, like, obviously they didn't care to put effort into it or didn't want to be a basketball guy. So they
Right.
didn't use the formula. And look, they didn't, for a basketball or a sports perspective, they did not amount to anything. They put their focus in something else, right? But yeah, I agree that there's a formula, and a lot of the formula has to do with dedication and hard work and training the right way and essentially making it your life, living and breathing it. They say to be successful at something, it's constantly on your mind, even when you're not doing it. You know, like your basketball thing, my mortgage thing. You, for us to be truly successful at it, it's constantly on our mind. It's constantly at the top of our head. We're constantly learning in that process as well. So like I think that plays a big part.
And that's what I'm trying to get to. I
Yeah,
believe
like I agree with you on there for
there is a
sure.
formula to get to where you're going. Um, obviously, obviously we're just talking about the theory behind it, and then we're placing a formula on a sheet of paper, and then you work out the kinks, and then you go and put it into play, right? Kind of like, I'll give an example, right? The Pythagorean theorem. Did we talk about this already? I think we did,
I can't remember.
right?
Review it real
But
quick.
like people used to ask, like Miss or Sir, when we're gonna use the Pythagorean theorem, and like when are we gonna use these things in for our life, right? And every time like students ask that question, the teacher never gave an answer, never, right? But have you used the Pythagorean theorem in your life, right? A squared plus b squared equals c squared, right?
I mean, like now we're older, so we kind of understand. We've used an equation like that. We just haven't put it on paper, right? Like if
Well, no,
you
but have
add
you?
two things together, there's going to be a third something that comes of it,
No, but my
right?
question is, have you used that? Have you actually used that formula in life?
No.
I've used it in life.
So like for what? Give me an example.
So when you're putting up framing and you want to make sure it's squared, that's the formula you use.
Hmm.
Because when you're squaring a building, that's the formula. Because it's a square. That's how you square it. I was so mad when I figured that out. You know how mad I was? I was
Yeah.
pissed. I was pissed off, man. I was so mad because I'm just like, these teachers they're teaching it.
They don't know
They don't
themselves.
even know what it is. It's like y'all are something. I don't want to go off
It's like
my.
when the teacher has the biggest blind spot, but yet
Ex-
they're teaching all these kids.
like
It's
like your basketball coach.
yeah, exactly. It's the same exact thing.
You see that? So
I think, like, funny, real quick story. We were talking about it earlier. A lot of times, kids when they're playing basketball, they gauge the situation and then play accordingly, which isn't always good, right? So if you're in a practice and you're in a structured practice where the coaches are not controlling, but like there's an expectation, there's a level to what the practice is about, right? And then you go to another practice the next day and it's a completely different thing and there's no structure and there's the skill base is much lower. A lot of kids tend to drop down to that lower level to play in that atmosphere, right? Now they think, okay, it's not a big deal. There's guys that don't, there's no structure. Kids don't really care as much as at the other place. And they don't think it's a big deal, right? But I was watching, or you would be watching, you'd be like, this is not good. This is bad habits. This is bad atmosphere. And then you go back then the next day, for example, to like that, you know, that higher level, and you struggle, and then you can't figure out why. That's right there. One of the biggest things is that,
yes,
right?
sir.
So it's like trying to keep that focus. Like I know for me, when I was practicing back in the day, I would keep my focus when even when I was at a school. that nobody cared about basketball. I cared. I put the focus in. We did a practice where it's basic layup lines in high school. People are learning how to do layups and they're on the basketball team. That's I don't need to learn that stuff. But in those practices, I busted my butt. Before practice, I put extra work in for myself. After practice, I put more work in for myself until the coach kicked me out because they had to lock up, right? If I didn't do that, I would be losing out on improving my skills, right? So like kids really need to realize that where even when there's no structure, even if you're playing pickup ball outside with your buddies that don't play basketball, you're just fooling around. You still want to kind of keep yourself at that level of focus, right? Every time you pick up a basketball, you're studying for school, you're doing a mortgage thing, you're doing a pot. You want to keep the focus because then you're going to drop off and then there's going to be a letdown. And then trying to now fix the letdown is going to be three times as hard. If that makes sense at all.
I get you.
You know?
But yeah, speaking of basketball, um, yeah, man, very interesting stuff happened in the first round of the playoffs. Sorry, I meant second round of the playoffs. Um,
Yeah.
most of my
You want to start East or West about the second round?
it don't matter. Just looking for my. I had a bracket.
Depends who you want to talk about more about the loot, like the people that are knocked out in the second round. So like if you want to talk dubs, then maybe we'll do second for the Western Conference. We'll do the Eastern Conference first.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying, like for the East,
Our
like,
brackets are busted for sure, man.
huh?
Brackets are busted for sure.
I was correct. Like, let me see. I said Milwaukee over the Heat. I mean, of course, if Giannis was playing, but obviously he was injured.
Giannis was playing. They
And
lost with Giannis playing. That was a
and
crazy.
they lost they lost game three without him, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No, I think they didn't have him for game two, and they actually beat him. I think he played game three, if I remember correctly.
He missed
He
one
was
game.
him being injured or him not being in the lineup wasn't the reason why
He
they
missed
lost.
he missed game
That's
three.
surprising.
He missed game three. He came back in game four, and they were up by like they were up in the fourth quarter, but like they just couldn't close them out. And again, game five up, and they lost in overtime. It was like, jeez, that was.
Shocking.
But
Shocking.
but
And they
like,
fired the coach too, Budenholzer.
yeah,
Crazy.
I don't. I guess I don't blame them because like, hey, you did
It's
a good
embarrassing.
job. You got us a championship. So hey, I mean, not a bad career for Budenholzer. When you think his team was
Oh,
always
he'll
number
get
one,
their chance somewhere else for sure. He's a
right?
good coach.
Yeah,
I think it was just a situation like they kind of got screwed because Miami's not an eighth seed.
yeah,
Like thinking
that
of it
too.
now, like we're not trying to predict. I was new. No, like if you think about it, they were not really an eighth seed. They just struggled all year, right? They struggled. Jimmy Butler is a star. They have got like Bam is a star. Like they have a really good team. They're well coached. Like it was still an upset, but like once they beat Milwaukee, I was like, oh, they're gonna beat the Knicks. Like I don't
Yeah,
know if you,
and you know
I don't know
why
if you
too?
thought anything else.
No, you know why too? Because well, first of all, Jalen Brunson outplayed Donovan Mitchell. Like,
He
oh
did.
my gosh! Like I
First round, I
thought,
was surprised at that too. I thought the Knicks were going to lose. I really wanted I thought Cleveland was going to be like a really good matchup for like the Bucks, and it would go like either way. I was way wrong about that. Way
yeah,
wrong about that.
Donovan Mitchell.
Brunson even too, even against Miami, he was putting up stats. He put the Knicks on his back when Randall was not playing well. He was carrying the Knicks. That's why there were so many close games. He was playing so good.
Yeah, man, he has his like cool ability. He gets into the. He's like what 5'11", 6 feet,
Yeah, he's a little guy.
and he gets into the
He's
paint
one of
and
those sticker guys too, which is like he could take a beating. He was like old school Lowry back in the day.
yeah, like he gets
He
into
had
the
a little bit
paint,
of
knows how to pivot, knows how to go up and under. Like he just has this
the
cool.
left hand,
Yeah, he
man.
has this
The
cool way of
lefties.
just getting in. And I think that's why the Suns were able to not Suns, Dow was able to beat Suns last year, and I think 'cause he was a big part of that.
And
So
everybody thought it wasn't just him.
right, exactly. And now
I
look at
didn't
him.
think so. I was wrong too. Like It was really really good. Knicks had a solid year too, so
Yeah,
they shouldn't be upset or anything like that.
I think yeah, I think like in the first round, those two like the first four teams we talked about, Heat and Knicks, that was the only thing I got wrong. Everything else I was spot on. Like I got the Sixers, Celtics, Nuggets, Suns, Warriors, and Lakers.
Yeah. So after Game 7, Sixers again lose. They fired Doc Rivers.
I mean,
Apparently, it was James Harden that didn't want him to come back. So if there was any chance of them re-signing Harden, they had to have fired
you know,
Doc.
do you know why?
Why?
You can't remember? I'll let you. I think you
No,
know. You remember?
no.
Don't you? It wasn't. Oh no 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 no. Sorry. I thought James Harden played with. I thought he was coach under Doc Rivers. But remember against the Heat and the Clippers, it was Clippers up 3-1 on the Rockets, and the Rockets came back. So, but Doc was coaching the Clippers, not the Rockets.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Dude, Doc has a
maybe
big
that's why
resume
Harden knew,
of choke jobs.
huh?
Hey, like Doc has a big resume of choke jobs. Game 6, Game 7. I think he has three
Game sevens.
losses being up 3-1. Like that's a big chunk. I'm surprised because Doc seems like a really good coach. But yeah, what direction you think? What direction you think Philly should go?
It's
Like
weird.
obviously they have an MVP, so they're gonna
It
keep trying.
it's weird with Doc Rivers because like he won the championship with Celtics, right?
But
And
again, it was a stacked team of veterans.
but it's weird. But it's weird because 08 they win, right?
Yeah,
I think 09 they lost to the Magic,
they
right?
lost because KG got injured.
Right.
KG missed the
In
playoffs.
2010 they had like that kind of
Finals.
they had that Miami Heat struggle year, finished fourth place, but they beat LeBron, they beat the
No, no, no,
Magic,
no.
they beat LeBron.
The you mean you mean
I'm
Boston
talking about
was the
Boston
fourth seed?
in 2010. There was
Okay, yeah,
fourth seed.
sorry, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
They beat I forgot who was the fifth seed. I don't think it really matters, but they beat LeBron, they beat the Magic, and they took game seven to with the Lakers, which is an okay loss because LA was
And
pretty.
they were up 3-2 in the finals and lost back to back LA.
Well, I mean that's LA was
They
pretty.
were saying they lost because Kendrick Perkins got injured. I don't know. If that's the reason, then man, you maybe deserve to lose. If Kendrick Perkins is the one
But
that
like,
you absolutely needed.
they like Lakers were a pretty good team, so that's an okay loss. Even this one against this Celtics team is an okay loss, but at the same time though, like it does.
You're up 3-2 with a home game.
Yeah,
That's
that's true.
that's kind of not good.
Um,
It-
let me see what
the,
else I got. Yeah, you got something
but
to say?
yeah, no, I wonder what coach they're gonna go after. Maybe Budenholzer. I don't know. They're gonna have, like if you look at the lineup of who they have. I don't know if it was it you that was really good on Tobias Harris.
No, I
No,
don't
no.
think so.
So I was at a party and they were talking. Oh, Tobias Harris is so. Dude, I don't know what you think about Tobias Harris, but for the amount that they're paying him and then picking him over Jimmy Butler, that's the guy. The reason why they don't win.
Yeah,
That's what I truly believe. When the Raptors beat them so many years in a row, when Boston beat them, they just don't have a third guy. Like Tyrese Maxey's good, but he's young. They need to figure out a third legitimate scorer in the playoffs because Tobias does not show up in the playoffs. And that's what they need. They don't need a regular season guy, right? They need a guy that could put the ball in the hole when it counts, and they don't have that guy. They had it in Jimmy Butler, and he left. So, like, I think everyone's blaming everything else, but I think it's Tobias Harris as a third star for them that matters. Once they fix that, who knows?
it's a good
Because
point. I like it.
they're blaming PJ Tucker for not scoring. He's not a scorer. He's a defensive guy,
Yeah,
right? I don't know what you think
yeah.
on that real
I
quick.
didn't
And
get a
then,
chance to watch the game seven, but like
oh my God, Tatum went crazy.
who?
Tatum,
Tatum. Yeah.
Tatum. It was a close game, and then all of a sudden the third quarter came, and they just blew him out.
Game six, Tatum had 16 in the fourth. Oh my gosh, that was
See,
so big.
and it was funny because Boston was playing bad. Like they should have lost that game. And literally, I talked to other guys that like watched the game and like watched the Boston Celtics all year, and they said Tatum just hit shots in the fourth quarter. A bunch of the other guys, like Smart, like their defense was the reason why I would save them. And finally, they hit shots because Philly only scored 85 points in games.
86 points. Yeah.
86 points. That's so low, especially now.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, they should have won this series because Boston was vulnerable.
Yeah, they had them. They had them right
And
where
then
they wanted them. They got the road win in game 5. And game 6 they were I mean, how close can you get? You know what I'm saying? Like
real
very
close.
close.
I think Tatum was 1 of 11 or something going into the quarter
Fourth
too.
quarter.
Like
Yeah.
they were struggling and they still were able to put them away. Like,
Well, yeah,
hey, Tatum.
I have Boston in that one, and I kind of have because I said whoever wins the Boston Philly series goes to the finals. So I think they're beating the Heat. I know Heat won game 1, so Jimmy Butler is kind of scaring me right now.
Jimmy Butler's a freak of nature, man.
and
Oof.
and the next set, both I got wrong because I had the Suns winning, but Chris Paul got injured, and I had the Warriors winning, and I tell you, man, Lakers 2 series in a row win big clutch game 4s. Clutch game 4 wins, man. That is crazy. That's such a
Yep.
big like that. Those big momentum shifts, eh? Holy,
Being down 3-1's hard.
it is.
But I think what we didn't account for was for the Warriors how poorly Jordan Poole played in this year in general, but in the playoffs.
Well,
I think he took a lot more shots than he did last year, and all of his percentages are down from last year. So
he got punched in the face, right? Remember?
I don't think that was the reason, but like who knows? Like he got a massive payday this year, so like we hope. I mean, for Warriors fans, they probably hope that he's going to come back, you know, more focused and stronger than ever. But man, the Warriors got a lot of questions up in the air. Like, what are they going to do? Like the GM might be considering leaving. What are they going to do with Draymond? Are they going to trade Jordan Poole? Because like now with the new CBA, like the new rules coming in about like being over the luxury tax for so long, like the extra penalties now are going to be mental. So like the Warriors are going to have to make some decisions because they've been over the cap since what 2016.
Of course.
Literally every year since then they've been massively over paying the luxury tax, right?
When you got a
So
team like
see,
that,
yeah,
you take
and
that.
plus Clay too is coming up on his contract, and he clearly isn't the same player that he used to be. Like it's just not possible for him to be the same player. He'll show flashes, but he can't do it on the defensive end, which was one of the reasons why he was considered a top player in the league because he was that two-way guard, two-way player, right? He was what 1-2 him and Jimmy, I think, at one point, right? So a lot of questions that need to be answered this offseason for the Dubs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
The Lakers, man, like yeah, it looks. I find it hard to believe that they're not going to make the finals. I like Denver in this series. I'm hoping they pull it out. I really hope because I want Joker to be in the finals. But if AD plays like Anthony Davis is supposed to, it's gonna be a tough series.
I to be honest, like seriously though, like because Nuggets after how they played it against the Sun, well, maybe it's not fair because they didn't have Chris Paul, right? Maybe it's not fair.
I mean, Chris Paul,
But I'm just
Paul's
saying
done.
the way how they won those games against Phoenix, yo, like they're a real team.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe I'm missing another factor to it
You know what
because
concerns me? What concerns me? They were up big against the Lakers in Game 1, and they almost choked that game.
right,
Their offense bailed them out. They got to play D because the Lakers are going to show up defensively because they were hitting a lot of crazy shots and they got clamped down in I believe it was the second half, but at least the fourth quarter.
but with the
Made it a really close game.
Phoenix
Right now they're down 5, so going into the second half. So we'll see what happens.
with the
Because if
Phoenix,
they lose, if they don't go up 2-0, they're going to come back to Denver down 3-1. I
right,
don't see them winning a game there
got you.
unless they're up 2-0 and there's less pressure. Sorry, you were saying I didn't want to
Yeah,
interrupt.
no worries. With the Phoenix Suns, I just wanted to mention that Kevin Durant kind of like he's like every year he's been going down and down and down on the great player list, and him and Kyrie have just been going down. Like even like kind of Kawhi Leonard too. They're just on the
Because of
downtrend
the
for them.
injuries. That's the problem. Even with Kawhi and with KD. Like the start of the year, he was great, and then he got just injuries and injuries and injuries and injuries. And he's had two playoff letdowns because last year they got swept in Brooklyn, and this year, like everyone did expect them to beat Denver. He had a few okay games, but I think now because of like you were saying with the injuries, yeah, I think he's starting to drop. But I think also because what would you think? Like after that trade, they pretty much don't really have past those 4 or 5 guys. They don't have anybody else. Like they
Right.
don't really have trusted guys. So like Denver, who one of their biggest things was the bench, like the rotation. Do they have enough? They had a better bench than Phoenix did.
Yes.
They were able to kind of flex their muscles. That's why it's interesting this series with the Lakers. Lakers have a bench. Lakers have guys coming off the bench that could do stuff.
Right.
Real quick, I just got an update. Sixers to interview Nick Nurse.
Oh,
Ugh,
they
ugh,
they might be a championship team.
ugh.
That's a good pickup.
Harden's re-signing for sure if it's Nick Nurse.
That's a good pickup.
Nurse is gonna be like, do what you want. Do what you want.
That's a good pickup too, and he got a championship
Is
to
it
like back
exactly?
him up too.
We'll take Doc Rivers then. No, no, no. But yeah, man. Anything else with Lakers and Nuggets?
No, man, not really. I just think it's Nuggets time. Well, then again,
I hope so. I'm rooting for
they
the
still
Nuggets.
have,
That's
they
for
still
sure.
have to prove themselves. You have to beat LeBron, and I think Jokic can do it because Jokic is serious. The way he's playing, he's a serious player. Like he wants to win. He don't even care about, like you said, the MVP. He doesn't off his mind. He wants to win. So,
Yeah,
um, yeah, man, that's about it. About it
yeah.
on that.
Denver's never really been Jokic. That's the problem. It's been the guys around him. Like can Murray, be the Murray from the bubble in the rest for the rest of the playoffs. Porter Jr. He's gonna have to score. He's gonna have to play D too. As the guys around like Aaron Gordon, they put this kid on an island. They literally it was a crazy. I don't know if you watched Game One, but why they came back was they switched Davis off of Joker. They put Hachimura on Joker, who's like, yes, the height is different, but Hachimura is a really big body, like thick body. So Joker just can't push him back. And they put Davis on Gordon, and they left Gordon open, and Davis just roamed the paint, roamed the paint, roamed the paint, and then they just clamped down on the Nuggets in the fourth quarter. Like it's like they better solve that because they need to do whatever it takes to get Davis in high pick and roll.
Hmm.
That's what they have no choice. They have to do that. So we'll
And
see what
that
happens.
and that's where Gordon can like really use his leaping ability.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
like I don't know why not use him in the pick and roll, but I guess you want to get Joker involved. But Malone will figure something out.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully they make their first finals appearance with Joker. It'll just kind of show like cement him as like hey he's actually a good player. Like he's not just a stat guy. He's a good player that affects winning. He just hasn't had a team that's been healthy those
Right.
last 2 years. We got anything else on the tap?
No, I mean that I know of. I think we're good.
Yeah, I
Perfect.
think if anyone's looking to kind of improve themselves or kind of set their days up um, for success regarding anything, Mike talked to me about it. I didn't believe him when he said it to me, but oh, I forgot the name real quick, Mike. Oof, what is this called?
Oh,
An agenda.
which one? The what?
An agenda.
Oh, an
Every
agenda.
day having kind of like a set of items you got to work on each day. I did not. Mike. I'll be honest. I did not believe you was gonna work, and I'm 3 days in, and I'm like, wow, I'm getting lots of stuff done. So if you guys ever want to kind of be more focused on stuff, listen to Mike. Set up
listen,
an agenda.
listen to Mike. I mean, it's just the what it is like. one thing's so nice about an agenda, um, how do I say, there's a word I want to use. Anyways, I'll stick with the agenda part.
Checked boxes off. You want to check the things on
Yeah,
your list.
yeah, no, but like, no, like, there's a framework I want to put around it, right? It's like you have stuff in your mind and your thoughts. It's up here. You know what I'm saying? So you know what it is. Like you're imagining it, you're picturing it, right? But then like when you have the when you use your ability to write it with the resources we have, now it becomes a still image, a product that you can feel, touch, and see. You know what I'm saying? Like it's in your mind. You see with your, I guess, mindful eyes or spiritual eyes, if you want to say that. But when you have see, but then it's good to put it into the natural universe, natural realm, and then you see it, and then then you do it. It's just, it's so cool. Like you said, because then you're just like, geez, like, yeah, like I got a lot of stuff done. Like you know what I
But
mean?
you know what I also say, like the first day I did it, I was checking off stuff. I was doing also what I was doing throughout the day. So I was adding stuff, checking them off of what I was doing, just kind of put it on paper, like you were saying. And I had two small things that I forgot, where I ended up not doing. And when I was done my day, do you know the whole night I was thinking, oh crap, I didn't do these things. I got to do them. I got to do them. Oh my god, I got to do them. And the next day, I wrote the same amount that I needed to do, and I doubled it because I want to do it each day. And today, I was able to do just that. It took me a little extra longer than if I would have split it up per day, but it felt good, kind of finally checking that off the list. You know?
Good. That's good. Yeah. And I think it's a key to like use all of our senses, right? And so this is why I'm encouraging you to read more books because as you read more books, you're going to be able to communicate to your, in the near future, clients. You understand what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and also you're organizing right now, and
It's funny too because like during the pandemic when we had a chance to do a whole bunch of reading. I read a bunch of books,
oh
and I
nice.
felt like there was like the best mindset up until recently, of course, but like the best mindset I had in a while, and it was all reading book after book, self-help books, mental state books, real estate books, everything under the sun. I was reading, so yeah, reading books, man. Who would
Nice.
have thought our grade two teachers that said, "Oh, reading is good," you know,
But the thing
take
is
into
though,
account.
sorry, my bad.
No, it's good. It's
No,
all
but
you. Go ahead.
the thing is though, like there's a key part though. There you said you're grade two teacher, right? Now, I mean, okay, grade two, whatever. Like you can't really like they're just teaching you as a child. That doesn't really count, right? But um, I'm more talking about like when you really need that teacher. You know what I'm saying? Like that teacher to really teach you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I don't know. Maybe they were just bound by their curriculum. Maybe that's the case. Who
A
knows?
lot of the teachers are stuck like that. A
Right?
lot of them, it's just a job. They don't think of themselves as, you know, wow, I'm teaching the literal future of the world,
Right.
you know? Because there's some teachers that are phenomenal. I've had teachers that have been great. I've also had teachers that are like how you just described, you know?
So, so like as like when I put things into perspective, it's for you to really, or it's for anyone, doesn't matter who it is. It's for them to grasp and really think like, oh wow, true. Like today, I was training somebody in the gym, right? And I'm telling them, right? And I think you're gonna really understand what I'm gonna say here, right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying to this person, so now, okay, you did your workouts, right? What I want you to do now is go stretch out, right? Feel your body, become one with your body. You understand what I mean? Um, for them, their thing is cleaning. They love to clean, right? And so I said, I'm like, exactly. So what you're gonna do is see how you focus on cleaning and you put that detail into it. You're gonna put that focus right into your body and put that detail into it. Exact same thing you're gonna do for your mortgage business. Exact same thing I'm gonna do for my business. You see that? So
And Mike, the key, if you do that to everything,
exactly.
your current job, your future job that you're trying to build, your relationships, everything, you put that amount of focus in. Ooh,
The results will
yep.
the results will come back to you.
I want to read a line real quick. Hold on.
Go right ahead.
Kind of attest to it. So, if for 10 years you didn't avoid doing what you knew you needed to do, what would you be like?
Good question.
So, imagine if you knew every day, I have to do this, this, and this to succeed, and you do it, and you do it day after for 10 years, it's gonna grow into something crazy and something special. And there's gonna be days where you're gonna be up and you're gonna be down and you're gonna be up and down, and you keep moving in the right direction. Moving is the most important thing, because doing nothing is you're gonna fail no matter what. So like at least try. Try. You fail, you move on. You learn from your mistakes, right? That's what I'm trying to do.
Gotcha. Yes, sir. With that being said, yeah, I hope this podcast blesses somebody. And if you enjoyed this content, if it's helped you, give it a like, comment, and subscribe. All right. And this is Mike and Diego signing off from Sports Business Life Podcast. Peace.
Peace.